Alright, my duckies, we're here in part two, and we're going to work on the power board, and we're going to work on the soundboard. Now, we're going to work on the power board first, and it's a little bit more straightforward. Basically, you're just going to desolder these and, put new capacitors on here. But these ones a little different because these are the surface mounted, where these are through hole. Okay? So, you're going to have to locate where the leads are for these capacitors on the other side. Now, normally I would have a solder pump. Actually, let me show you here. I don't have like a one that plugs up. I have this right here. Some people call it a solder sucker, but you plug it up, and this end gets hot, just like a soldering iron, and it gets really hot. And we're not going to use it today because I'm going to show you how to use it with wick. Because you may not have this, but this is better. So what you do is you'd heat this up, and you would pull the plunger like that. Basically, it just sucks the solder up. So what this does is it heats the solder up, and when it gets liquid, it sucks up that liquid solder. And don't worry, it instantly turns solid when it gets up into this chamber here. So anyways, what you'll do is, when this is nice and hot, you'll get it on top of the lead, and you'll just kind of work it around there a little bit and wait for a second till it gets nice and hot, and then hit the plunger, and you should suck it up. And if you don't get it, just keep doing it over and over, rinse and repeat until you get it. And that's pretty much how you use this thing. It's really good for getting solder up. Now, there's actually like a actual pump that I believe it's battery powered, or it has a cable too. But you actually just put it on there, and you just hit it, and it just pumps it itself. And those are like think like $200-300. And if I can get one of those would be awesome. But I don't desolder enough to justify that purpose. But if you're gonna desolder a lot, get that. I'd rather get this for what I need, my purposes. But solder wick is probably the best way to start. If you because if you can learn how to use solder wick, I think everyone needs to learn how to use solder wick before they do anything else. So what you need to do is, now sometimes this old solder, you might want to put another little glob on there just to get it kind of wet, because sometimes that solder, old solder, sometimes it takes it a while to reheat, or it's very difficult to reheat. But if you put like new fresh liquid solder on there, it interacts with it and gets activated again. I don't know how you would say it, but yeah, and then it's a lot easier to pick up after that. All right, so what I like to do is, again, flux, because what flux does is it helps the solder, it helps it bond to metal. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it here. Just put a little dab on there. And we're going to get our soldering iron, which is nice and hot. And we're going to take this braid, and basically we're going to put, now another thing you can do is you can actually take some of this flux, and you can actually put it on the soldering braid too, because that way it helps it bond to the soldering braid, and this braid's going to soak up all that solder. So let's go ahead and just get right in there, and you just want to lightly touch. You can hear it sizzle a little bit. You just want to just slide it back and forth. Slide it back and forth. And ooh, Ducky, that did a really good job right there. And you kind of want to take this braid, and you kind of want to it comes out real thin like this. And what you want to do is you want to kind of push it together. Kind of like get those strands loosened up, so that way it can actually, suck something up. So then you're going to take this braid here on the other lead and do the same thing. You can hear it sizzling. And just lightly back and forth. You're not even really touching it. And what this does is it's actually sucking up that solder. And that wasn't really, that was better, but that wasn't as good as the first one. The first one, man, it almost came up all the way. So let's just do that again. Actually, let's put a little bit more flux on there. I think we burned off the flux with the first one. So just a little bit more flux on that side. And again, just like that. just like that, back and forth. And then let's pull that up. It's a little stuck to it. It's like cut on there. And yeah, we got that up pretty good. I don't know if you can see that, but uh, this one right here, these ones right here, they're actually on there. Well, I can't really see good on this camera, but yeah, it sucked it up a lot, so you can actually. Now we can actually put a little. There we go. Put a little heat, because there's a little bit of solder on here, and just a little bit of heat on there, and look, it just comes right out. Look at that, right out there. And that's where it was right there. And you could tell where the and also on the board it'll have where the negative lead is, because you can see that white strip. That's where the negative lead goes. And yeah, that's actually really good. So we're gonna go ahead and put this one in, but you would basically rinse and repeat for all of those. And and then what you do for the second one, or for the when you're putting in the new one in there, you just put it through the through holes, and sometimes there's a little bit of solder still in there, so you just kind of hold it like this, heat up that solder right there, and it should just come on through. Because it's not a clear hole, but actually let me screw that. Let me see if we can get a little bit more of that up there. Get that solder in there, and you can see. I don't know if you can see this, but you see some of that solder that's in there. Yeah, look at all that got sucked up. See that silver bit? Yeah. So that's all solder. Be careful, because this also gets hot. But anyways, we're just gonna scrape it lightly. Scrape it lightly. Barely touching it. We just wanted to kind of like soak it up like a sponge. Oh yeah. Can I get in there? There we go. And yeah, that's looking a lot better. Okay, so now let's see if we can get it in there. Okay, still a little solder in there, but let's see here. Let's heat up this hole. Oh, it come right through. Yep. And then we're gonna there we go. And then we're gonna get that negative lead right there. Careful not to burn yourself. And then just kind of heat up right there, and there it goes. And then you can just slide that on through. And so now we got that in there, right? This brand new one in there with these real long leads. And then what you're going to do is kind of bend these leads this way. Take your solder and just blob it on there. A little blob on that lead, and a little blob on that lead. Not a whole lot, just a little dab, just to make sure it's all covered up nice. All right, put my soldering out right there. All right, and yeah, so there we go. Now it's stuck in there. Now it's soldered in there. So then you're gonna take your wire cutters and just snap the leads off. And bam, there's one capacitor done. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this up. That's really what you need to do on that one. So we'll set this aside, and I'll finish this up later. But yeah, you just basically repeat that for the other two here. And let's see here. So now we're gonna work on the soundboard, because this one's a little bit different. So these surface mount ones, they have a lead here and a lead here on the other side, and so it's kind of like it's kind of like this. This is the way they're kind of oriented, kind of like that on the board. Imagine like they're sitting on the board like that. So one lead is sticking out this way and one lead is sticking out this way, and they're kind of sitting like that. So I don't know if you can see it, but you can see on one side there's a little silver piece, like here on this one, like a little silver right there on that side. Yeah, that's the lead, and that's the solder pad. Now, a lot of people are going to yell at me, okay? But what you're supposed to do and what I do is a little bit different. So what people normally do is they take their soldering iron and they put this down here and they try to like loosen this up. And they'll put you put it on the one side. They're going to try to loosen one side up, then loosen another. Ooh, I touched myself a little bit. Ooh, not what to do, Dougie. And you wouldn't want to be on this microfiber cloth. You'd want to actually have a nice rubber mat. You know, this is not the best way to be doing soldering, by the way. But you know, I've been doing this for a while, so you know, do as I say, not as I do. But anyways, what they would normally do is you'd take some solder wick and you try to suck up this solder that's right there, and you try to get up this over here, and it's a pain in the ass, especially if this is corroded. You know, and if it's corroded, I don't know, it's going to take you forever. So this is the way I do it. Be very cautious. Very cautious, all right? What you're going to do is take your pair of pliers, and you're going to take, like, we'll start on this one right here in the end. You're going to grab the top of the capacitor, and you're going to kind of pull it off like this. But here's the thing. You want to kind of pull it from the top. Don't get the bottom, because you're trying to basically, I'll show you here. So we're going to pull from the top very gently. And what you're trying to do is actually pull the leads out. Okay. And so basically we're trying to pull the leads out of the other side. So as you can see, I don't know if I can get a good close up of that, but yeah. So there's a little plastic piece on the bottom. That's actually glued on the bottom. So I mean, I don't know how you're getting it up. But then here's the actual leads are still stuck in there. So we're going to repeat that for each side. And you're really trying not to pull it. That's the thing. You're not really trying to pull it off the board. You're trying to pull it off of these leads. So don't, you know, that's where the force should be. So when I say you kind of need to kind of pull it more from the top than the bottom. You're not really trying to pull it off the board. You're trying to pull it off of this plastic piece. And so now we have like the leads stuck in there. So you can see them right there. Okay. And then once you have all these done, what you're going to do is you're going to take a pair of wire cutters and you can just cut these leads. And you can kind of like, you can use a hobby knife, whatever. You're going to break this plastic. So we got that little bit of plastic off. And now it's going to look like this. And so now this one right here. So this one right here is nothing but solder pads now. And we're going to do just like we did before. We're going to take a little bit of solder on the end. And we're just going to pull off this pad. Slide them across really good. And we got the leads right there. Bam. Couldn't be easier. Now we're going to put a little flux. And then just like before, just a dab and just a dab. That's all you need. That's all you need. Okay. And then, let's see here. Is this the big one or the small? No, that's for the power. Okay, so I need one of the more of the smaller ones. Okay, here we go. So this is one of the smaller ones. So also you'll see on there, like right here, you can see it's the white stripe. So that's going to be the negative side. And we're going to just do like we did before on the main board. Push down on this, push up on this, snap them leads off, and you're going to get something that kind of looks kind of like that. Okay? And then we've already got our solder on the board, and then just get this molten, put one lead into it, let go, hold it, take the other lead, put it in there, let go, hold it, and guess what, Ducky? We got one capacitor replaced. So, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead, and I'm going to show you what this is going to look like and what the best way to actually do this one is. Now, I know a lot of people are screaming at their phone or their computer or wherever you're watching this video, calling me an idiot. But that's the best way. That's the best way I found to do it. I mean, I ain't trying to be here all day, you know. But you gotta be very careful because you can, and I will. Excuse me, I will say this: you can and you might pull the pads off, okay? But Ducky, really, with the soundboard, even if you pull the pad off, the solder pad, don't worry. There's ways to get around it. Let me pull this plastic piece off right here real quick. Let me get it off of my wire cutters. I don't know where my I'm not really sure where my hobby knife is. I had all that stuff over here, but yeah. There we go. Okay. So right here on this, I don't know if you can see it, but right here on this positive side, right where my finger is, here, let me get the screwdriver right here. So right here on this positive side, right here, okay, there is a, you can see it a little bit better. There's a silver lead or a gold lead. You can see they're glistening. And it goes to this first leg of this chip here. So if you were to say pull this pad up, you could actually just take the capacitor and you could solder it to that first leg of that chip there, because that's where the electricity is going. You know, usually with these soundboards are a lot better. Like you can see all this gold part, that's really where all the solder or the solder mask, and that's where like the leads are going to, the electricity is going to. So you can follow that, and you know, if you're really desperate, you can actually take a little wire and solder it from one lead to like where it's going to go. You know, I had one a couple weeks ago I was doing, and this pad over here on let's see, which one is it here? I believe it's what is it, C2? No, it's not C2. Oh, C7. Capacitor C7. The negative lead was completely eaten off. I mean, there was nothing I could do. It was completely just corroded. So it was completely eaten off. So I just followed the solder mask to this resistor that's down here, this tiny little resistor, and just put a little bit of solder on that end, and then took the lead from the new capacitor and just kind of just soldered it right onto that resistor. So even if the pads are lifted on these, don't freak out. There's a way to get around it, okay? You can basically take pictures and post them on the Game Gear subreddit. And there's plenty of people on there who help you out. If you have any questions about any of this, you can actually contact me on the Game Gear subreddit. You can actually just post a question, and believe me, there's plenty of people who will answer you. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead, and we'll show what this looks like. All right, okay, I got them both finished here, and I thought I'd go ahead and just put them back in here. So we got, the power board. We got those all completed there. Those are all the new ones. And we have the soundboard here. Now, yeah, you got to kind of fit them in there which way you can get them. Some people prefer putting the like these here. the surface mounts. Some people like using those again. If you if you find out that you like using these, go right ahead. I mean, it's fine. You will have to put this silver piece back on here. You know, just so long as like that, as long as it lays down, it's fine. As long as you can get it in there, it's fine. So yeah, just get them in there like that, and that's pretty much how I see everybody do them. As far as taking the surface mounts out, I know a lot of people are going to give me flack about that. On a Game Gear, I guess, I'm more familiar with it, so that's the way I've been doing it. But for surface mounts in general, you kind of want to do it the right way. If you're in something else, especially if you're in something a little bit more modern, like a PS4 or an Xbox or anything like that. Yeah. So it is good to learn how to do surface mounts. I mean, I know how to do them. I just don't really care. But so if somebody's watching this video and says, "Hey, you're a hack," well, you're right. I'm a hobbyist, not a professional. So hey, I'm just showing you how I do it. So if you can get them in there better, Ducky, go right ahead. Thumbs up to you. All right. So yeah, that's how I got him in there. This is kind of sitting over here on top, and yeah, so this will actually fit. So now we're gonna go ahead and skip when this is all completed, and we're gonna turn it on and see how it looks in about 2 seconds. All right, Ducky. So we got everything screwed back together. Got the battery covers in, and yeah, got everything ready to go. All right. So now that we've got the main board recapped, the power board recapped, and the soundboard recapped, let's see how it looks, shall we? So we know what power's on, but look at that. Oh, there we go, Ducky. Look at that. Everything is look at that. Look at that. Looks really good. Yep, looks really good. Sounds great. Although looks like all the buttons work. Let's get through here real quick. Yep, looks like everything works. All right, Ducky. So, anyways, I just wanted to show you my unorthodox way of doing things. But yeah, and this is, like I said before, this is not how I normally repair things. I have actually my own workspace, but like I said, I have some stuff on there I don't want to move, and but okay, I hope this video helped you. Maybe shed some light on things because it's not that difficult to repair something. There are difficult repairs out there, but you know what? The Game Gear is worth repairing, and I hope this helps you get enough confidence to repair that. And yeah, Ducky, then you can start on getting onto mods and things like that. And hey, check out my other videos I have about the backlight mods if you want to install those. And here pretty soon, I'm going to actually get a McWheel mod, and we'll make a video about that. Won't that be fun? All right, Ducky. So I will see you all later, and remember, stay safe and be good to each other.